Hello out there. We're on the air. Welcome back to another episode of The Kingdom. The first time we've called it KNGDOM GOLF SHOW. Figured it makes a lot of sense to have golf incorporated into our title of the show. So welcome to the KNGDOM GOLF SHOW, the inaugural, the premiere of the KNGDOM GOLF SHOW. 173 episodes in, and we finally figured that out. We got a good one tonight. We had a lot of golf, the US Open, the Canadian Open. We got some hockey on, so the boys might be distracted for a little while tonight. But we'll have a good show. So welcome to everybody across this beautiful country of ours. We're glad to have you here tonight. We'll see you in exactly 30 seconds.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kingdom. As always, my name is Drums, and I'm joined by the brothers behind King Golf, Regan and Jordan Headley. As we always do first, we send it up north to see what's going on with our boy Reg. Reg, how you doing? Did you survive the weekend?
Yeah, I survived. Yeah, it's good. I feel the exact same way as I felt on the Sunday of Gary Brannan's for the last
15 years.
20 years. So it's a grind of a weekend. Yeah, it was fun.
Maybe just tell everybody quickly what the tournament's all about.
So it's probably the best tournament that there is, actually.
Out there?
I would say so anyways. Like, bang for your buck, the stuff that we do now. So Friday's the qualifying round, and you get flighted, 8 per flight. We're up to 64 teams now. So there's 7 flights of 8.
Holy.
Like a championship in 7 flights, I guess.
Jesus.
Sold out. And then Saturday, you tee off at 9 a.m. in your first match. And it's best ball, same format as men's night. And then the second match starts about 20 minutes after the first round is done. We had a 3-hole playoff hole in our first match, so we didn't get any break. So it was tough.
What hole did it end on?
Well, we went 1, 2, and then 17. And yeah, it was good. And then Sunday's the finals, obviously. It used to be if you lost on Saturday, you didn't get to play on Sunday, but they've basically added a consolation, and we play CPs again on Sunday to keep people's interest. So
that's good.
It was good. We kind of lost the liquor, honestly, on Saturday afternoon.
It was calling the shots.
Yeah, we started early in the second round. So you're golfing at 9 a.m. So you start then, and yeah, by the time we were into the second round, we were into it pretty good. So can't really blame it on that, but we lost to the kids who won Boston and Jackson. They didn't have a sip all weekend, so definitely plays a factor. No, it was a lot of fun though. Like I was telling you guys before, it was probably the windiest conditions I've ever golfed in. Made it even harder because the greens were firm, because they couldn't really justify watering them because there's been so much rain, but they were like, it was really hard to stick it. So then if you landed it on the green, it would bounce over. But if you landed it short, the course is so wet that it would stop short. So like it honestly, and you guys know how small those greens are, like it played tough. Like 77 got into the championship flight.
Oh,
that's ball.
Yeah, and it's usually like 72 is like the very top score.
Cut off.
Like the very highest, that there's probably ever been. It was 77. It's nuts.
So you guys took over the tournament a couple years ago, Aspen?
Yeah, Aspen Asante. Bush does a lot of it. He did an unbelievable job this weekend. It was really good.
What do you drink on Saturday afternoon when it's windy and rainy? Actually, it wasn't bad yesterday. It was just windy.
I was just on the Coronas the whole weekend. Coronas in a can. And then
good
gin
for
at nighttime. Yeah.
It's probably the way to do it. The only shitty thing about golfing when it's cold is when you're drinking beers and they're cold. That's makes my hands freezing, and I have bad circulation, I think, and they get pretty numb, pretty nummy.
It was a good weekend though. I think I only topped 2 balls maybe the entire weekend. So
Got a boy.
things definitely improved. I kind of got rid of the yips, which is nice.
There you go.
I
went out Thursday night and figured it out a bit. I'd still like to get to the range a couple more times just to completely dial in. I kind of still had like a hybrid of like I only hit my hybrid twice on the weekend because I was so scared to hit it. It's wild. Took my 3-wood out of the bag.
Did you?
Yeah.
You probably don't need it at that course, honestly.
No, I really didn't have any time. I hit driver on every tee box the entire weekend. It's good.
Dolphin's a pretty underrated course, honestly, like the layout of it and everything. Just the greens
are rolling so good. They're rolling so good, though. Holy, it's the best I've ever seen them roll, probably.
I think there's a reason there's so many good golfers come out of Dolphin. Because it's a good course. It's challenging. It's got really hard greens, and if you can, not only are you going to get really up and really good at up and downs, but your precision, your accuracy with the second shots are get a lot of work.
Unbelievable how much wind affects chipping and putting too.
Oh man,
I couldn't believe it. Everything. It was an absolute grind. But no, it was fun. Very fun weekend.
Oh boy. Jor, how's things out in Rossman?
Good here. We had quite a hectic day today. We decided that we were going to move our garden, which was a real task. We had to shovel up all the dirt, dump it on the yard, wheelbarrow it, and then rearrange the garden, move the wood, and then shift it around. So it's in a better spot now, which is good. I'm glad we did it, but it was a lot of work. It was really nice today, hot. I think I got a little bit of sunstroke probably, but a couple beers this afternoon, a couple waters, and we got her done. So big shout out to Mom for helping us with the garden today. She planted some peas, carrots, beans, and I think that's it. We're going pretty heavy on the carrots this winter, or for this summer, I mean, and for the winter. But Arnie's a big carrot lover, so I think a couple of those rows are going to be specifically for him. But no, things are good here. We golfed yesterday. It was really windy. Not so bad on the course, so it was actually a nice night. But our match Thursday was a little bit windy, eh, Drummy? Me and Drummy actually found out the day before, I think it was, that we played each other. So Drums came out on the
schedule.
Yeah, Drums and Farnsey came out on the winning side of it. I think they beat us by 1. Not a whole lot of great golf. I think Moose was the low man of the group, but it was interesting. I mean, I used to actually really enjoy playing in the wind. I didn't love it. I was just decent at it, but I'm not good at it anymore, and it's pretty painful. So I had one of those rounds that you just can't get it off the course fast enough. But as I'm going to talk about tonight, there was a bit of a couple learning lessons there, but it was fun. It was good company. We had some drinks, and I actually thought it was going to be a lot worse weather-wise than it was. So it was okay. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, no, like you said, definitely the wind affected everything. More so, specifically the holes going into it were nuts. But yeah, I don't recall ever having issues with putting due to the wind on that course before. And there was multiple times on Thursday night where it definitely affected putts. Not as much as I affected putts, but there was some wind residual there. Round, like George said, quite up and down for myself as well. My dreaded second hole started me off bad. Actually, I parred the first hole, won us the first hole, thought we were off to a hot start. And then second hole, my second tee shot was behind my first tee shot. So that's how things went on that hole.
What do you mean?
I stubbed my dick and it trickled down towards the water, hit the rocks, came flying back up at us, and ended up behind the tee blocks again. So just just stellar start. And
He's
like
your-
Farnsey said, I don't understand how like every round on that fucking hole, it just eats me alive, just melts my brain, just kills me, and then I'm screwed for like 4 or 5 holes. But I blame a bit of it on the wind.
Your second shot there was a lot better though.
A little bit.
Dunked
Right
the
in the
second one
crick.
too, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, that one went right in the water, so it was right to the cart.
Picked up for the hole.
Yeah, I'm out.
I mean, it just goes to show really how mental golf is.
I'll never understand it. I don't have an answer. I've tried 20 different clubs hitting off the tee box there, and then all of a sudden one day I'll be like, fuck it, I'm just hitting driver, and I'll hit a perfect tee shot, and I'm in the middle of the fairway, and then get up there the next week, have a bit of confidence in you, and same thing, in the water or something stupid happens. So I don't know. It's just my forever struggle. My forever battle is number 2.
I mean, everybody has those kind of holes. I get a couple of those as well. But the one thing with the Wheat City, the wind, it was when the wind's coming from that direction, I swear it adds about 500, 600, or 700 yards to it. Because if you played Wheat City before, the whole course is kind of going in one direction. And then it finally comes back at the end. You play 3 holes straight, but up until then, they're kind of going the same way and zigzagging. But then you got 16, 17, 18 coming back. And by the time you get to those holes, the winds usually died down for the night. The only holes pretty much on the course outside of hole 8 where you don't really need the wind. It's like number 5, 8, 16, 17, 18, and the short par 3 or the first par 3 on the back. But like, you don't really need the wind on those holes. And then the rest of the holes, you have it right into your face the whole time. So that direction of the wind is definitely the toughest part playing Wheat City. So it was a tough round, but I mean, you're going to have some bad nights on the course, and the weather wasn't doing us any favors. So
yeah, like even 3, it was like a 3-shot wind, and the tee blocks were at the very, very back, so it was like a 6-iron into that sucker.
Me and Moose went first and both dunked ours into the drink. And then Farnsey lost his ball too, eh?
Yeah, true.
Okay,
it was a gong show round. By
it really was. It's a good way to explain it. I'm sure it sounds like Reggie had a gong show of an entire weekend out there as well. So it's different though. I mean, it's as shitty as it can be sometimes. It's like when you're playing the same course every week, hitting the same shots every week, same clubs every week. It's nice to get some variety and some challenge. And everybody's playing the same course. So you kind of have to keep that in mind as well.
It's actually unbelievable. Like as soon as you mishit it, just like a hair in that wind, like it takes off so far. Like
even when you don't, like Moose hit a couple where he actually hit it good, like a good shot without much spin on it going either way. And it's just like it hit a wall, and the wall just kind of pushed. Like he had a good shot on 3 actually, and it just kind of grabbed it and just started taking it over into the river.
Yeah, nuts.
It was crazy.
But yeah, like you said, it couldn't get off the course fast enough on Thursday night. Get me out of here. I'm out.
Thankfully, it wasn't too cold though. That was the saving grace of it all.
The week before was nuts. It was nuts.
Yes. Okay, so we got a couple things to talk about tonight. We're going to start with some cheers. We're going to get through the around the greens. We got a couple big tournaments to talk about on the weekend. Some cool stories to discuss. We got some fixture divots, and then we got a new segment tonight, and we'll see if Reggie has his stroke saver or not. Do you, Reg?
Yep.
Oh, all right. We're in for one tonight, fellas. So let's start with the cheers. We got a couple here, and I'll start with the first one here because it's pretty close to home, literally, probably about 500 yards from here. But big cheers to Cora Tibbetts last night. She got a hole-in-one on number 2 at Rossman Lake, which there's been a lot of aces at Rossman Lake through the years, but the majority of them have been on the 3rd, which is the 65-yard 3rd hole. But Cora actually got one last night on hole 2. Very impressive because with the ladies' tees there, the ladies' tees are also behind the water there, so they don't have much of an advantage there. So it's probably playing 165 tough hole. I usually end up with a 4 or a 5 on that hole most days. So she got an ace there. Pretty impressive stuff. So big congratulations and cheers to Cora Tibbetts. I think we should try to. I don't know if this is something we can implement into the future going forward, but I'd like to report on the hole-in-ones. I think that it's pretty cool. If we could find a way to get some intel from all the courses every time they get a hole-in-one, we could kind of give some shout-outs each episode. Maybe we'll just message a few courses and start with that. But anyways, big shout-out to Cora. Very impressive. Hole 2, hole-in-one. And we got another cheers here, but maybe we'll just save it for the around the greens because I'm sure we're going to mention it there. So we'll let Cora have the spotlight tonight.
I was going to add one more, take a bit away from the spotlight, but we got to give a cheers to Austin DeBrescu. He is on to the next stage, which he tees off tomorrow for U.S. Open qualifying. So a little pre-round cheers to him and a good luck to him.
And also,
how far along is he?
So this would be the third stage. So I think this one is in. I think. Yeah.
Oh my God.
AC's post today said that he was also going to, is it Cherry Hill they're playing the qualifier?
AC's going?
I'm pretty sure AC said he's going to he's on his way to Cherry Hill for the US final qualifiers.
Love it.
Wow.
So that'll be fun to track this weekend. Austin, AC. I don't know if there's anybody else that we know playing, but anyways, yes, good call, Drummy. Cheers. Good luck in advance to the boys. Reggie didn't want to do a cheers there, I guess.
Sorry. I was reading that post of AC's 36 hole final qualifier tomorrow at Cherry Hill.
It's 36 holes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Holy, that's a big day.
Get into it.
I'm sure AC wasn't too pissed off that he missed the cut then on the weekend. If he was booking his flight there already, he'll get a bit of a little easier Monday, you'd say. So Drums, let's kick this off with some around the greens. What do you got for us tonight?
I guess we'll just kind of kick things right off with the Canadian Open, and Mac is a champ. Not the Mac we wanted, but might be the Mac we need. Robert McIntyre, 2024 RBC Canadian Open champion. I did see a lot of people asking the Canadian Tour Commissioner about moving it out of Ontario, and that guy dodged every question better than Joe Biden. His response was, well, we're going to Montreal for the President's Cup. So it was just like talking to a wall. So that kind of gives you your answer. We're never getting jack shit out this way.
I like the analogy there, Drums, but I think Trudeau would be is a little better at dodging questions.
Very true.
Sleepy Joe doesn't even know what the question was.
Yeah, he can't spell question.
Yeah, big shout out to Bobby Mack. Did you guys catch his interview with his pops after? He had his dad on the bag for the weekend.
So cool. Unreal. I mean,
was it just this weekend?
Yeah. And the reporter actually asked because he got an exemption for the Memorial, for the US Open, and for another bigger event. And she asked if he was going to be on the bag for them, and he said no.
He looks a little older, so it might be tough to keep him on the bag, I imagine. But that's such a sick story. Unbelievable. Is that his first PGA?
Yeah.
I think so, right? So yeah, having your dad on your bag for the first PGA Tour win, that's pretty special.
Pretty special for sure. It sounds like I did a bit of looking into Bobby Mack after the W today, and he's got 3 wins before. So I think he got one in 2017, his first year as a professional. And then 2021, I think, or 2020, he won the Italian Open. But that's it. It was his first PGA win today. Pretty cool. It seems like the Canadian Open's just becoming notorious for pumping out cool stories like that. But big shout out to Bobby Mack. I think his dad's a greenskeeper, I'm guessing. He said he cuts grass for a living. So
yeah. Doogie. Is that his name? Doogie?
That's his pop?
I think so. That's what they kept calling him today.
Doogie.
Speaking of caddies, Did you see what happened with Fluff?
I didn't see the video, but he ate shit.
Is that what happened? Like, I just seen the video of him on the ground, and they're trying to haul his ass up, and then homeboy from the crowd jumps in automatically. Like, Fluff's got to be 70 years old. Like, he's rather weathered. He did lose a shitload of weight, so
I
he's
haven't
a
seen
little
him
healthier
lately.
that way. But somebody's got to tell him maybe it's time. But anyway, CT Pan is who Fluff's caddying for, and then he biffed her. Couldn't proceed, and they had to get a patron from the audience to grab the bib and haul the
Guy's a
bag.
unit.
Was it 2 holes?
I thought it was
Something
like
like
the
that.
second hole that he fell on, or the third
Oh, is that
hole.
what it was?
I'm
3.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
I thought it was like the last 3 holes. Never mind.
The guy just asked. I saw an interview with him after, and the guy just asked if they needed any help, and CT Pan was like, "Yeah, we could use help." And then so he threw the bib on. I heard Trevor Immelman's comment as he put it on. He's like, "We're gonna have to loosen the bib up a little bit."
Guy's a
He was a
tank,
unit.
man.
The guy was a unit. Yeah. So shout out to him for finishing the whole round too. If he did, yeah, good
Looks
for
like
him.
Paul Blart.
I wonder what happens
He
with
did.
the payday for that. Do you think he gets like his actual cut, or if he just gets like a little bonus from CT for it?
I think he would just get a little
Probably
envelope.
just a tip, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking too, because Fluff carried the majority of the load there.
And took the brunt of it.
Man, Bobby Mack
that's
did a
hilarious,
sick
though.
shot on 18, hey?
Saw that, yeah, because he only won by a stroke, eh? So that was a pretty.
Yeah.
And he left himself some work on that last putt. Like, not
Oh,
crazy,
yeah.
but it wasn't just a tap.
It was a 3-footer, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so good for him.
2 Canadians in the top 10, pretty sick.
Yeah, I saw that. I think 8 Canadians total made the cut this weekend.
Out of,
Which is
what do we have?
awesome.
How many were there? I had it somewhere. It was a record, anyways. That were playing in it. 28. Record 28 Canadians this year.
And 8 made
That's
the
crazy.
cut. That's got to be some kind of a record or close. It seems like the last couple of years there's been a lot of success on tour with the Canadians. Because AC made the cut last year, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was low Canadian after the first 2 days, I believe, last year. It's good to see it's becoming a bit more of a marquee event. There's a lot of push by the PGA to put some light on it, as well as I think the Canadian portion of it has been kicking ass here the last few years. Having that penalty box and just kind of doing it right. Like, they're pretty respectful. They'll get banged up and loud there, but you haven't heard of too many wild stories there, so that's good.
Yeah. It helps majorly right now that there's so many good Canadians too.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Right.
To actually get like a good fan base and just continue, and then you can just grow off of that. Yeah.
Right.
Reg, I don't know if you've seen this one or not. Our boy Mac Hughes is he's been working with your boy John Sherman as
Really?
Yeah, helping him on the mental side, a little bit of a mental coach. He added him to his team. I actually saw an article where he reached out to 2 people off of Twitter to get them on his team. He was a fan of their
No kidding.
Twitter accounts and social media. So reached out to them and was like, hey, would you want to look at working something out? And so he's got John Sherman helping him out. And Fit for Golf, I think, is the other.
Oh, yeah.
Pete
Carroll? Not Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Mike Carroll.
No.
Mike Carroll.
Yeah.
Pete
So
Carroll's
he was
football coach.
Football guy, yeah. They started a relationship up in the DMs, just chatting back and forth, and then finally Mac was like, "Hey, let's get you on the team here. Let's get you helping me even more." So with John Sherman, it's the analytics, man. Like, it simplifies the game for Mac. He said you can talk about it, but then the way that Sherman presents it to you, he said, helps me immensely. And then just chatting back and forth. I guess John Sherman's a pretty high level amateur. So he looks at it as like from a competitive side of things too. And he said that the relationship's just been awesome since they started working together, and just has continued to get better. So that was a cool one that I came across yesterday.
He was
Just quickly on
buzzing
that.
today.
Sorry, Reggie. What'd you say?
No, Mac, you was buzzing today to start. Holy shit!
Yesterday was
3
crazy,
under
too.
through the first 4. But
Yeah, yesterday was his hot start, I think. What did he finish yesterday?
I thought Friday was when he really started hot.
Oh, yeah, it was. You're right, Reggie.
It was
Sorry.
Friday
And
with
then-
the 2 eagles, right?
Yeah, and then today he was on fire.
Good to see. One thing quickly on that, that's pretty interesting, Drums, that Mac Hughes found a couple guys on Twitter. I'm a firm believer, and I don't know if this is kind of away from golf, but just more macro in the world right now. I'm a big believer in like whatever you do, I think you should be doing a lot of it online in terms of like your Twitter, in terms of your YouTube, LinkedIn for some. But I just feel like the resumes are pretty much a thing of the past now. If anybody wants to hire you or work with you or collaborate with you on something, the majority is just found through things like that, through actually following people, their work. And I just think that that's the future of what would you call it even? The future of building relationships and hiring and all that kind of stuff. I just think that that's where we're going, because why would somebody look at a piece of paper of a resume if you can just Google somebody and see what they've done? I think that that's much more a better reflection of it, I guess, and more like 3D versus just a piece of paper of something.
Right, like you get like a fuller view of everything that way.
I think that people should be paying a little bit closer attention to that. If you're, starting a business or you're looking to get hired in the future, I think that you should be paying pretty close attention to what you're doing online.
The other story that was making the rounds on the Twitterverse out of the LPGA, Charlie Hull.
Charlie Darts.
Charlie Darts. So yeah, she blows up on social media this weekend as she is seen and photographed and videoed just puffing darts away. You don't see it often. I think it's a little more prevalent or showcased because she was a woman, so it's not a little more out of the normal. But apparently she's gone back to smoking darts to get off of vaping. So that's why it's more known or seen right now. But I dove into her a little bit, and once you get to the Instagram, you don't have to dive too much further. She is very easy on the eyes. Beautiful, beautiful girl. And if you start reading stories about her, she sounds like a beautician.
She's hilarious. Yeah.
They had some, I forget who it was on live from last night that I caught, and she was like, there's not many stories I can actually tell you that would air. That might be like a podcast when we retire, but I was golfing with her in the Solheim Cup, and Charlie had like a 12-foot putt to win the match, and she bends down to read it and gets back up and looks at her caddy and just says, "Did you book that fucking massage yet?" And then proceeded to drain the putt, goes and picks it up. "I need that fucking massage." Just walks off, barely even knew that she won the whole match for them. So she sounds like a beauty. She is a beauty. And cheers to ripping darts on the course. Love it.
Those are king size, double king size. They look like that. Those are some big dogs, man.
It definitely took over the golf world this weekend. I've never seen anything like that for a while. And I was trying to make some sense of it in my own head, but I think the reason for that is just because people crave relatability.
Yes.
We're so used to seeing, especially PGA, but like professional athletes in general, we're so used to seeing them behind a filter, behind their association, behind all the entities, the sponsors, all that kind of bullshit. And every once in a while, you actually see somebody who just truly doesn't care about that and just is being themselves out there. And I think people are really drawn to that for a lot of ways. It's the same as anything. Sports is one, politics is another, as you can see what's happening. in the U.S. is just people, people like being candid, being relatable, and they're millionaires, but it's nice when you can relate to people. The relatable content is second to none with anything. So I think that's what it was. But I think it also helps, as Drum said, that she's pretty easy on the eyes. I remember watching her last year with Reggie, actually, at the cabin. I think it was either in the U.S. Open or it might have been the U.S. Open.
Yeah,
it probably was.
At Pebble Beach, maybe?
Because I remember talking about her previously too, yeah.
Did she? I'll just quickly Google it, but I just did. The one thing that I did remember from her was her waggles and her head movement before the ball.
That's what it was. Yeah. But she didn't win that one. That was when that other girl won.
She was close, though, I thought. Wasn't she like
Yeah,
second
she was up
or
near
third?
the top. Yep. Yeah.
She's good. I think she's ranked 8 in the world.
Yeah, she finished tied for second last year at Pebble Beach. Pretty fun though, honestly. Like, the purse this weekend was $12 million. That's pretty good.
That's good bank.
Like, if you looked at if you looked at other sports in terms of like the variance between male, female, like the 2023 US Open men's was 20 million and the women's one was 12 million. So, I mean, it's more than half, but still that's pretty good. And I think that the LPGA has to be one of the better women's sports out there in terms of actually,
100%
attracting eyes.
So
all right.
Yeah.
Last thing I've got on here, all the charges against Scotty have been dropped. Not a huge shock to anybody that did see the actual footage of the alleged felony that took place, which is great. We don't have to actually continue to worry about, is this actually going to come back and bite him in the ass? No, it's not. So they dropped charges that I guess as long as everybody agreed to not, I guess, pursue a lawsuit. So the officer, old pissy pants there, did release a statement. He ended the statement with this: P.S. Yes, the department has us buy freaking $80 pants. To those concerned, they were indeed ruined. But Scotty, it's all good. I never would have guessed I'd have the most famous pair of pants in the country for a few weeks because of this. Take care, everyone, and be safe. It's so weird. Such a weird statement from a cop to make after all the shit that went down.
Detective Gillis, didn't he get fired or no?
I thought I did see one report he got fired. This one doesn't look like he has been fired. He might be put on leave.
In the past, though, I think he had some issues too.
He had a bunch of issues, tons of issues, apparently.
What a weird thing overall.
I mean, sounds like he was
that statement.
He enjoyed the exposure he got of himself.
It is absolutely hilarious that Scotty was in jail.
Fuck that guy.
It is funnier actually as the days go by and you kind of reflect on it a little bit more. At the time, it was just so confusing what was happening and what you didn't know what to believe and shit. But like thinking back, the fact that Scotty Scheffler was actually in jail for something so stupid. But anyways, good to see he's out. That's what it should be. The unfortunate part, and the thing that actually I saw somebody else tweet about, was that if Scotty Scheffler wasn't a famous golfer, if that happens to somebody else and the cop goes through the same protocol and says the same stuff, it might end differently. And I think that there's a lot of people, the average Joes out there, who have been victim of that, the same kind of story, and maybe put in prison or charged or prosecuted for something that they didn't necessarily even do, just because they don't have the cameras, they don't have the backing, all that kind of stuff. So I think there's a good reflection of that.
He was charged with a felony count of assault on an officer.
That's what I mean.
If you just read that on the report, you're like, what the hell just happened here? But this guy jumps on the car and then tumbles his fat ass over because he's an idiot. Like, it's just,
was it Paul Blart?
Insane. Yeah.
Mall cop?
And now he's caddying this guy.
What?
Yeah, Gillis was caddying for CT Pan.
Oh,
Blart's just
Okay.
making his waves around the kingdom tonight.
I had one more thing to throw in to around the greens here on the weekend. There was a Golf Manitoba match play event that wrapped up today. A couple things to report on there. There was Addison Cartouche. She won the women's division, match play division. She for second straight, second year in a row, and third time in 4 years. So pretty impressive golf, I would say, from Addison Cartouche. And Marco, I'm not going to try to say his last name, Treshniak, defeated Thomas Scott of Dauphin in the finals.
And Thomas played Eric Prokopowicz in the semis as well.
Oh, they were playing against each other. I saw some pictures
Yeah.
from Eric's profile today. They were
Two
playing
Dauphin
against each
boys
other.
in the semis. Yeah,
Nice.
really cool.
That is it. Do they live out there, or why did they choose? I mean, we talked about at the start of the show that how many great golfers have come out of Dauphin Lake Golf Course. Is there a reason why they play there instead of Gilbert?
Well, Thomas plays in Winnipeg.
Oh, does he?
But Eric P, his grandparents have a place out at the lake, and they might even live out there actually.
Did you see that Eric's sister is a pro now at St. Charles?
Yeah, I was
Man.
actually talking to her about it at the Jets game this winter. Kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. Very impressive. She's like what's it called, Reggie? Not a mentoring or intern.
Yeah.
So her internship
cool.
for professionals at St. Charles.
What a place to be.
Yeah.
Just gonna try to put a bug in the pros' ear to get her stuff in there.
Beauty.
Good call. Okay, so big shout out to Addison and to Marco and also Thomas Scott and Eric for putting up a pretty valiant effort out there. Pretty impressive.
Eric actually beat Dusty, hey?
Dusty Dick.
Yeah. Was it a playoff hole maybe, or?
I don't know. I didn't go through the whole things, but I did.
It's a lot of golf, man. They played a lot of golf.
They started on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Bryce is in the chat. Good to see you, Bryce.
Stay off beers. Yeah. This is waking up 5 minutes before my tea time the last 3 days beard.
Okay, well let's get to, maybe I'll do my new segment here, then we'll do Fix Your Divots, and then we'll do Reggie's Stroke Saver, and then we'll hit the road. What's the game at right now? How are we looking for it?
10 minutes left.
Weather's still up?
2-0.
Nice. God. Wouldn't it be so cool to see the Oilers win the cup this year?
I will be cheering for McDavid. I don't care about Edmonton, but getting McDavid his cup needs to happen.
Shit. 2-1.
How about the shots are 29-8 right now?
For Dallas?
Actually?
Yeah.
Mason Marchment. Shit.
Least
Okay, let's move along here.
Yeah, let's move along here. So we got a new segment here. I've kind of had a few through the years. We started out with a few different things. I think I had the junk drawer for a while. I had another one, but I've kind of landed on a new one here just because I've been so deep into Zen Golf, a couple other books, Golf is Not a Game of Perfect, and some different podcasts and YouTube clips. So what I'm going to start doing here, and I don't know if this is going to be every week or not, but I would like it to be. But the idea here is that it's pretty easy to find things and talk about them and come up with like hypothetical ways to talk about it. But I'm going to call this segment Timeless, Tested, and True. And what I want to really focus on here, I'm going to leave kind of like the main stuff to Reggie. But what I want to look at here is like old tips from the older generation. I'm a big believer in things that are timeless and were true 50 years ago and are true today. And so some of them might be not as old, but the point here is that I actually want to learn it, try it, and then talk about it if it works. I don't want to come up with hypotheticals here and just read something and tell people about it. I actually want to try it first, put it into practice, and then see if it works. So the very first one here, and this is actually one that we talked about a little while ago on the show, but it's called par for the course. That was kind of the tip. And the idea there is that with every course now, this wasn't always the case, but every course now has a scorecard. Every course now has a sign at the start of every hole that has a score, the par of each hole on it. And that wasn't always the case. That's something that kind of has evolved through time. But the point of this par for the course is that you shouldn't be focused on the par for the course. That shouldn't be your main focus for when you're golfing out there. You should take a look at what your handicap is, and you should look at what the course conditions are playing that day. And you should kind of make your own par for the course that day, your own scorecard essentially. And I've started to do this the last couple of rounds. So basically what that looks like is you look at the scorecard. Let's say I'm an 8 handicap. On the eight hardest holes on the course, you just add 1 stroke. So at Weed City, an example, the hardest hole per the scorecard is hole 4. So that would actually be a par 5 for me based on my handicap. So that you do that, and then you actually factor in the conditions as well. So if it's really wet or if it's really windy, which it was that night, you can add a couple strokes on there as well. So then you go from like an 8 to maybe a 12, and you do that for the first 12 holes. And kind of the idea there is what I've been trying to do is just like figure out what the handicap is and then try to shoot 1 or 2 strokes under that. And it's kind of going to evolve based on the conditions and based on your experience doing with it. But what I did find when I did this on Thursday night is that it didn't really help my game very much. It didn't make me play any better. But the one thing it did do is it really just changed my mentality playing out there, because when it's windy, when the conditions are shitty, and let's say that you're used to shooting like 75, 76, that's kind of your average, but all of a sudden it's really windy and you're on pace to shoot like an 80 or a 82, which is perfectly normal if the conditions are set that way. But you get frustrated and you could shoot bad, and not only shoot bad, but a poor experience for the night. So that's kind of what I did on Thursday. It was very windy. I added some strokes to my personal scorecard, and I just enjoyed the round a lot more. And I think that it's something to implement. It worked for me. I enjoyed the round. And I think when you're enjoying yourself on the course and laughing and having a good time, it's you play better. So although it didn't help me hit any better shots, I don't know, but it made me more enjoyable and play a little bit better, I think, too, when you're smiling and laughing. I think that's an underrated part of golf, is when you're smiling, laughing, you're more relaxed and your swings a lot freer. So that's my timeless, tested, and true golf tip for the week. And consider doing it yourself. I've been doing it for like the last 3 or 4 rounds now, and it just takes a little bit of pressure off you, and you take it easier on yourself. You know, if you're not, I just think that every amateur out there, pretty much, for some reason, they just think that tonight's the night they're going to par the course, and if they're not parring the course, they get frustrated with it. Right. So I just think that the par for the course, setting your own scorecard based on your handicap and the course conditions, changes your mentality in golf. So that's tonight's timeless, tested, and true.
Beauty. Like it.
It's a good way to save strokes too. Like, it really is. Like you said, try to just cut that down. And if you make a par on that hole, you should bogey on, then that's like a birdie, right? For your handicap.
Exactly. And if you do bogey it, then it's like, okay, well, this is a hard hole,
yeah,
8 handicap, and that's kind of what I'm supposed to do. So move on to the next hole. So let's go to fix your divots here. Should we do that, or do you want to do this? No, let's do fix your divots right now. We got a couple of Bitcoin questions in the chat. I post this to the 88 Sats channel all the time, but it's nice to see we got some Bitcoiners in the house. Unfortunately, we're not going to talk about Bitcoin tonight. We save that for the mornings. But Bryce says, I'm just trying to break a 100. There's a lot of golfers out there like that. Okay, so let's get to the thing for tonight. And I was actually funny thing about this one tonight is I was actually going to put this exact same thing as mine. But I was looking through the old fix your divots, and this one was actually in there from somebody else. So we might as well use theirs instead of mine. Okay, so tonight's segment of Fix Your Divots is brought to you by the Prairie Scratch Tour. Big shout out to Prairie Scratch Tour for sponsoring such a small little show like ours. The point of the Kingdom is to really just promote local golf, help players, golfers, shave a little bit of strokes off their course or off their scorecard. And once they get to a certain level, maybe they'll head on to the Prairie Scratch Tour one day. So the point of this segment here is not to bitch about other golfers on the course, but to rather point out things that they might not know that they're doing. Because we have to keep in mind here that not everybody grew up playing golf. Since COVID, since the pandemic, there's been an explosion in the golf world, which is good. But the people that didn't grow up golfing. So the aim here is that maybe somebody out there might come across this podcast or this clip that we're going to start doing, hopefully, Reggie, and maybe change the way they're doing things. So the Prairie Scratch Tour is back for another season. They've completed one event this year. They got, how many did they got left here? 4 for the year. So the first one was at Southwood. They're also going to head to Grand Pines next, Quarry Oaks, Falcon Lake, and the finale, the Tour Championship at Breezy Bend. Last year's winners included Adam Gunther, Jordy Lutz, Drew Jones, Braxton Kuntz, and the match play champ from the weekend, Marco Trestenjak. To find more information and register for a Prairie Scratch Tour event this summer, you can check out Prairie Scratch Tour on Instagram or visit prairiescratchtour.ca. Drummy, what do we got tonight for the Fix Your Divots?
This week's Fix Your Divots comes from our boy, Chris Pereira. And it is sunflower seeds being spit on and around the greens. Totally unacceptable. We might have covered this very early on, but yes, in complete agreement with Chris. If you do have your spits out on the course, there is so much of that property where you can spit your shells out that it's not going to matter. Mowers aren't going to get damaged. Mowers aren't going to get dulled. Everywhere except for surrounds and the greens. You can spit literally anywhere. Throw them in your pocket. Do whatever you got to do. Just don't be having them on the greens. It's crazy ignorant. that happens, but it's pretty ignorant. But yeah,
it's wild actually. Like it's like the craziest thing you could do. I think
it's probably the worst thing you could do on a golf course. I think
you'd be better off taking a shit on the green than.
I was just going to say that. If you pulled your pants down, you had a bad hole, you pulled your pants down, and you took a big dump on the green, like that would actually be better for the golf course than spitting sunflower seeds on the greens.
Because even like on the mower, like they'll just get caught in the reels and just they're stuck there until you get them out. So it's dulling them in the process. Yeah. Just a complete pain in the ass.
It's just disgusting. There's been a couple times we played here at Rossman like the last couple of years. There's like a sunflower seed hooligan out there. I don't know who it is or where they're coming from, but there's just sunflower seeds all over the greens. They're in the cups. It's the most disgusting thing. It ruins my day that people would do that. And it's one thing to show up to a golf course and just golf and don't do anything disrespectful to the course. It's another thing to actually give a shit about the golf course, and you see a divot or a ball mark out of place, you fix it just because it's the right thing to do. But to go out of your way and be so disrespectful and it's just it's criminal, I think, to me. You might as well just take a big chunk you might as well take your wedge and take a big chunk out of the green while you're at it. Like it's kind of the same thing to me, honestly, because the grass will grow back. It's just, I don't know. There's something about sunflower seeds on the greens that just drive me batshit crazy. So thanks for Chris for bringing that to our attention. That was going to be mine tonight, but you stole it from me. So
that's good.
We got a question here. Look at this one. So Muslim Bitcoiner who's in the chat, looking for some Bitcoin chat, but he's asked, new to golf, just starting to shop for a set. Just keep renting. Any suggestions to shop online from? I don't know. Depends where you're from, I guess. Like, is Golf Town in the US too? It's got to be.
No.
It's something. I think they use Dick's. Like, is the same.
PGA Superstore.
Yeah.
Dick's.
What's the Golf Avenue online?
GolfAvenue.ca. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
The one thing I'd say, honestly, to Muslim Bitcoiner here is that if you're a new golfer, you don't have to get the most expensive clubs, but make sure you get them fitted to you. Because I think that if you're new to golf, you wouldn't really know if a club's too long or if it's too stiff or anything like that. You really wouldn't have a feel for something like that. So I think the best thing you could do is actually find like a professional from a local course or like a Golf Tech. I don't know what the American version of that would be, but you actually get fitted for the clubs, and you don't have to get the most expensive set there, but just make sure you get fitted so that you're getting the right kind of clubs for your game.
Yeah, like it's kind of like any other salesperson too. Like they're going to try and sell you the most expensive clubs. So you just got to be upfront. I'm just getting into the game. This is kind of what my budget looks like. Let's get me in something that I can proceed from there. Just a good set of clubs that fit me correctly, the correct shafts, everything. And then you're going to start off on a better foot than just picking up a random set of rentals.
Yes. Yep. That's a great call, Drummy. And the other part too that I would add to that is that make sure that if you do go out of your, if you do go down that road to get fitted by a local pro or a small like boutique golf shop, whatever it is, make sure you actually buy it from them. There's nothing worse than going through the process of like taking up somebody's time, going to their place, and then just going online, and just because you can find it for like $50 or $60 cheaper or $100 even, and supporting the bigger chains, make sure you buy from the guy who helped you with it, because we got to keep those guys around. As much as I love Golf Town, I don't need the 16-year-olds there making minimum wage who are chirping your swing. I don't think I want to be supporting those kind of guys. What does fitted mean? It just means that you're going to have the right size of clubs. You're going to have the right stiffness of the shaft, which is a pretty funny thing to say. Just the right clubs for you, I guess you'd say. It wouldn't have anything to do with the golf gloves or anything, but the actual clubs themselves, the drivers, the irons, the length, yeah, all that kind of stuff. Length of the length of the shaft, the stiffness of the shaft. Okay, let's wrap up the show here. It looks like there's a bit of time left in the game here. We might actually get to watch the end of it. Reggie, what do you got? We're making the Reggie's Stroke Saver return tonight.
It's a very, 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 very quick tip, and it's something that I always tell people. I'm like, yeah, I've never thought of that, and it doesn't really have anything to do with golf. Like it does to do with golf, but it's not gonna. But I always see people buy food or buy chips and eat them with a hand that doesn't have the glove on them, and it drives me nuts. Like it's like a cheat code to just take your glove off. People actually eat food with their glove on.
I've seen that before, and you just said
I've probably done it a time or two.
So
really?
What my stroke saver tonight is take your glove off and eat with your glove hand, because then you can put it back on and it's like you never ate anything. But like people it's an underrated tip, but it works so good. You never have to wash your hand. Like, you know what I mean?
Except your glove's all dirty inside.
And slippery on the glove.
So what? How do you even know that? You put the glove on, you're bulletproof.
That is a good tip, Reggie. What was your main takeaway from the weekend from your golf game? What do you got to look forward to here? What can we expect?
No, just that I can golf again, which is good. Don't have the yips. Made a couple birdies today. It was good. Felt good to be. It was good off the tee this weekend. Actually, I hit a couple bad, like 2 bad tee shots, but other than that, I don't know if I was in the bush with any tee shots.
Even with the wind.
Even with the wind, yeah.
You have a really good ball for the wind. You don't put a whole lot of spin on it either way.
I was hitting my driver really good this weekend. Like probably the best I've hit it in a long time. Not as far as usual, but it was like 250, like right down the middle every time.
Safe to say Reggie's back?
No.
But
trending for sure. Danny just texted me and he said, "Don't forget to shout out the flower pot at Odie's."
Oh.
He fell off his step when he got home last night and fell into the flower pot.
Who did?
Your partner did.
Odie. Yeah, it fell into the air conditioner and crushed the flowers in the flower pot. So he might be in some hot water tonight. Yeah.
Well, whoops.
Oh, that's good stuff. So before we get out of here, good job, boys. We showed up on time. We kept it under an hour tonight. No plucking around. A couple things before we go in terms of announcements. We're going to have a local knowledge next week, so keep an eye out for that tomorrow. We're going to be posting it on Instagram. I think it's either going to be Dosta or Scotswood, but keep an eye out for that. I think we're going to be doing it next Sunday. The shows are going to be Sunday. We had a bit of a mix up for the last couple of weeks. We had a long weekend, then we did it on a Wednesday, and then we missed last week. But they're going to be Sundays, 8:30 p.m. going forward, and we got some cool things up our sleeve here going forward. So we're gonna kind of our main theme for this show. Just I know we kind of bounce all over the place sometimes, but the main themes of the show is going to be we're going to be focused on local golf for a portion of it. We're going to have some entertainment from around the green, some funny things that have happened throughout the week, and we're going to have some self-improvement stuff for golfers for guys who want to start playing a little bit better golf, things that they can do without actually changing their golf swing. So like kind of the core strategy, mental side of golf, those are kind of the three main themes going forward. We're going to try to do a little bit less of the news stuff in terms of week to week, what happened. We just think that there's enough shows covering that right now. So just something to look forward to, I guess, and make sure that we're all on the same page here with things. And one last thing here I did want to say is that the King Cup, July 19th, 2024, we have 35 teams in. We're looking for 5 more teams for the record amount. We're going to try to get 40 teams this year. The past 3 years have been 32 max. So we're going a little bit bigger this year. Different date. So if you're interested, get 2 buddies, get to Brandon, get on the bus, and get ready for the best Friday of the summer. So that's it. July 19th, get your teams together. And let's fill this baby. Let's get 40 teams this year. Biggest yet. Anything else, boys?
I think that's it.
Well,
Big show. Did they win?
No.
Minute.
I have.
Big shout out to what, Reggie?
No, I'm behind. Mine shows 2 minutes left, so
I got 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Big shout out to everybody on Twitter. This is our second most live watched show ever. We got 83 people watching at this moment. Consider stopping by on the YouTube sometime if you want to be part of the conversation. It's a lot more interactive. That's kind of the beauty of the show most nights is there's people in the chat, there's questions, there's comments, and that's it. So if you've been listening, watching on Twitter, consider joining the YouTube show and the YouTube chat. That's it.
That's it.
sorry. I haven't been watching it. Just turn it on.
Okay, no, that's it. We're out of here for this week. We will see everybody next week with a local knowledge. Other than that, we'll see what happens. Bring it up. We're out of here. Love you, boys. Peace out. Later.
Love you, boys.
Fellas.
Come on, Oilers.